This isn't a stage, Mom. Scene is forever, and damn, I look good in a Bacchio's lipstick. Damn right. All right, I know I said earlier on Twitter that Diavolo killed the other goths, so he can reign goth supreme, but if I'm being technically correct here, Diavolo is a quintessential jackass scene boy. I mean, like, even if you Google, like, MySpace scene kids and type in leopard print hair, that's the look he's going for, except for I think these are supposed to be froggy spots because he likes frogs and grapes. He's has a grape theme going on as well. Honestly, I don't know what's going on with his outfit, but I bet at one point of time he probably uploaded a super grainy early 2000s YouTube video with a tutorial of how to do frog spot hair with green neon Sharpie. That seems like something he did and is now ashamed of. He's the MySpace scene kid who grew up but never grew out of his scene phase. And I'm betting that he hid his mom under the floorboard because she found his MySpace journal with his deep thoughts and song lyrics. But yeah, we finally get to Diavolo in these past two episodes. Like, the name of one of the episodes is his name is Diavolo. So here he is, the big reveal. And honestly, I've been hating him. I wanted to hate him. I hated him for killing a Bacchio. I hated him for making Narancha cry. I hated him for making me cry, for punching Bruno through the chest. That was a punch to my own gut vicariously through him. But finally, we get the reveal where he's like stripping, and then there's a magical girl sequence, and he turns into this gorgeous fashion disaster. Like, everything is going wrong with him, but it's so right. And god damn it, I was like, oh, he's hot. Like, he has no business being this pretty. Not today, Satan. Not today. And speak of the devil, his name means devil. So that means here, folks, that we have the Son of God trying to fight the devil. We're getting biblical here, folks. Or maybe it just isn't that deep. Araki maybe thought it was cool to have two of his villains named after God and the devil. Dio and Diavolo. Hey, we'll see. I will say, though, that a lot of the problems in part 3 and part 4 with the creation of stand powers and abilities, like even Dio, he's already a vampire. He gets more superpowers to stop time. A lot of the problems were caused by Diavolo deciding to sell the arrows. So a lot of the problems we have in this series is the devil's handiwork. I don't know what's happening with this series anymore. I know it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but things are getting really bizarre, and I honestly didn't expect the end of Golden Wind to turn into a black comedy. I was expecting a fight right off the bat between Doppio and Bruno. I was expecting a confrontation between those two, but no, we get like, it's called dramatic irony, where we know Doppio is the boss, but poor Bruno doesn't. He thinks he's Trish. So we get all this suspense and buildup, and honestly, I'm glad that we have Bruno just a little bit longer. This kind of reminds me why I loved part 4 so much, was because we got so much perspective and dramatic irony from the main villain, like with Kira trying to preserve his identity when we know, oh yeah, he has like a severed hand in his pocket, but only here we know Doppio is Doppio the boss, and poor Bruno is blind and deaf, and the poor man is so pure that he's offering Doppio, who he thinks is Trish, his home in Napoli's. He's like, yeah, there's a great restaurant nearby. He loves that pasta place so dang much. I almost wish that Doppio could have had a change of heart and been adopted by Bruno, and most of the problems would be solved. Like, if he overcame Diavolo, and everything was Dijobu. But I don't think this is that kind of story here, folks. People keep saying it's going to end in tragedy, so I'm like, oh, I need to brace myself. Also, I'm honestly confused about some of the narrative choices right now, like with the whole body swap switcheroo. Typically, body swap is used as a plot device, one, for comedic effect, and two, it's to help bickering, arguing characters finally learn how to understand each other and bond. So it's odd that it's placed this late in the end game. I'm not gonna lie though, it is hilarious seeing Trish and Mista swap bodies, and poor Mista, he lost his dick. The poor boy. He's traumatized right now. So that's funny. I'm not sure how that's going to pay off. I'm going to have to see. We have a lot of strange wild cards right now, like the appearance of Polnareff, who died, but he's sort of living on in a turtle. Things are getting weird and complicated. Yeah, there is some potential right now with the body swap setup, especially with the switch between Bruno and the boss. Because if Bruno decides to sacrifice himself by, like, maybe asking Giorno to kill him, that'll be cruel. But I feel like Bruno is such a self sacrificing person that he's going to try to use this to his advantage. And at least right now, he has a body that isn't deaf and blind and can barely move. So I'm gonna see how this all pays off and I'll see if I like it. Yeah. Lastly, I do want to point out that it was a pleasant surprise to see a change in the opening sequence again. It was kind of subtle where it's like Doppio picks up the phone and then voila, it's Diavolo. And then it's interesting getting the same parallels and juxtaposition of Diavolo with Giorno that was with Dio and Jotaro. So it's cool seeing those parallels. And if you think about it, Dio and Diavolo both have time-based powers. The only difference is that Diavolo can erase time for other people, just not himself, which is super ironic because he's the man who wants to erase his past so badly, but he can't do it with his own ability. So, oh, the irony. It's Shakespearean for poor Diavolo. I truly enjoy him as a villain, not as much as Kira at this point. But yeah, let me know how you feel about this big reveal and seeing Polnareff return to die but continue on in a turtle shortly afterwards. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.